Yeah, like being sober helps me to manage that much more. And it also helps me to just accept myself where I am. Like I can love myself and accept myself much more when I'm sober, when I'm present. I'm more likely to handle my responsibilities when I'm sober. Like just because COVID is happening doesn't mean there's not stuff to be paid for. Like, if I'm in a cloud of non-sobriety whenever there's responsibilities that I have. I mean, I'm not likely to get that stuff done, and I'm more likely to be buried by all of the stress and the anxiety of not handling stuff that might be hard to handle, that I might be scared to handle anyway, but I'm more likely to handle it and at least have like the clarity in my mind to go after, strategies of how to solve my problems if I'm sober. I've found I'm more likely to try something new. I started rapping. I started dancing. I started painting again. I started writing new music. I started writing chord progressions on guitar that were completely different from, earlier music I've done, and even my first project that I released 2 years ago. Like, I started reading more books. Here's one right now that if you're interested and you're a woman, it's called Quit Like a Woman: The Radical Choice to Not Drink in a Culture Obsessed with Alcohol by Holly Whitaker. I have just started it, as you can see, but it's killer. Like, it's awesome. It doesn't just talk about alcoholism and how to quit, but already in the book she's talking about what it's like to be a woman of color and be oppressed in society and still try to be sober, what it's like to be in the LGBTQIA plus community and still try to be sober, all types of things, what it's like to be a woman, how women drink way more than men do, how women die of alcoholism way more than men do. Just, it's an incredible book. So I encourage you, get it. If you're like me, reading on your phone drives me crazy after a while, because I look at it almost all the time anyway, posting videos, mindlessly scrolling. So I like to hold something in my hand. I also like to write things down with paper and pen. It just grounds me. It reminds me that there's more to life outside of my phone. So yeah, check that book out. Let me know what you think about it. I'll also share my musings more once I actually get deeper into the book and also finish it, hopefully. Because I have also a habit of like reading 3 or 4 books at one time and not finishing any of them. So I'm trying to stop doing that in 2020. Let's see. I'm more likely to protect myself from emotionally and socially unsafe situations. This is huge. Because if I'm under the influence, I'm likely to just go with the flow. Even if there's like this nagging Holy Spirit knocking on my soul moment, I'm likely to be like, it's fine because I got this going on now and I don't need to worry about it. Until I'm in a situation where I'm like, yeah, I probably should have went left at the fork instead of right. And yeah, it's difficult to protect myself from socially and emotionally unsafe and draining situations, even sober, but I'm more likely to like think things through and not put myself around energy or around people who are not good for me, or who are going to enable me to continue down destructive or unhealthy paths. It's just better for my mental health in general. I'm learning more and more about mental health these days, and more on that later, just because. But it's just better for my peace of mind, man, to be a sober person. I'm more likely to keep promises to myself. This is also a huge one for me because I have a lot of ideas. I have a lot of things I want to accomplish. And if I'm not sober, all of that shit, whoosh, just down the water slide into oblivion, like it didn't even exist. If I'm sober, I at least have the clarity to like write things down on the calendar or on paper, on a Post-it, attach it to a magnet on a fridge, something where I'm going to see it every day, be reminded of it, and actually hold myself accountable to see it through to the end. I'm more likely to heal from past traumas and wounds, which I guess those terms are synonymous. But yeah, like, it's not likely that I'm going to heal from what's probably driving me to drink and use in the first place if I'm not sober. And facing wounds that are not healed, especially if they're wounds that have existed over a period of years, or if they're wounds from childhood, in my case. But I'm definitely, I have a fighting chance at conquering that shit when I'm sober. I'm more likely to accept responsibility for my actions. Yeah, and that's even hard to do sober, I'll just say. I'll just keep it real. It's super hard to admit for me sometimes, a lot of times when I'm wrong. I'm still able to do it, but sometimes it's not without first a lot of back and forth and a lot of struggle. And I want to be somebody who's accountable and, accepts responsibility when I need to. And I'm more likely to do that when I'm sober. I'm just happier in general. Like, every day is not perfect, for sure, but I'm more likely to appreciate the things that I have. I'm more likely to look around and realize that I have a lot to be grateful for. I'm more likely to take immense pleasure in little things. I'm more likely to help other people because I'm helping myself when I'm sober. I'm more likely to draw healthy boundaries with myself and with other people. I'm more likely to, have discernment about a situation. And this kind of goes back to another thing that I said, like not putting myself in situations that are like not healthy for myself. But just drawing healthy boundaries with friends, with family members, with, potential clients, with myself even, with my lover. Like, I'm more likely to be like, this is where the line is, and it's not to be crossed. But when I'm not drawing a boundary with myself and I'm not tackling life because I'm running from it, through choosing not to be sober and not to face my life, it's not likely that I'm going to be able to draw any healthy boundaries with people because I'm not drawing any for myself, And I've noticed this, and it's really funny when it happens around people who they might not drink or drug addictively or abusively, but it's always like interesting, I find, when I'm around people who are not stone cold sober, like they haven't chosen that path. That's fine, whatever. We've all got our journeys. No judgment over here. But I laugh a lot more. And sometimes people get confused. They're like, is it that funny? And I'm like, yes, it is that funny. I'm able to like tap into a deep, deep well of laughter that somehow wasn't available to me before. Because I think, I don't know, maybe suppressing my joy with substances. And so now I'm able to like, this joy and this happiness is it's hard earned. Happiness is work. It's not just something that's just like, oh, I've just been picking apples off the wrong tree. That's the happiness tree over there. Whoop. Now I'm happy. Like, no, that's not how it works. It's through a lot of digging up ugly stuff. And continuing to do that until most of it or a lot of it, enough of it is gone that I can actually see my vulnerable self at the bottom of that fucking trash heap. So I laugh more. I laugh hard. I laugh long. Yeah. And I've definitely had lots of bouts with being sober or not being sober, but I came out as bisexual during my journey in sobriety last year. I am myself sober. I'm unafraid to be who I am. And I think a lot of why I was using just over the past few years was because I was in denial about my sexuality. Like, it's scary. But as soon as I chose to be sober, and I knew that sobriety was the path for me, I might have wavered on it, definitely more than a few times. But yeah, during that period when I was like, it's time, man. So what I'll say is the bottom liner of that is being sober helps me not to be afraid to face the world as myself. No matter who doesn't like it, no matter who doesn't accept it. because now I accept myself. The good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, the in-between. And I don't have to make anybody happy but myself because I'm taking care of myself. So this is long, this is a lengthy video. There's, you know, this video is me, you know, it's all me. So if you relate, hopefully some of the stuff helps you out. If you're struggling with addiction, if you're curious about whether or not you might be drinking or drugging addictively or abusively, this freaking book is kicking my ass, so check it out. If you, I don't know, maybe you just want to drink less or smoke less or whatever. Or if you just want to implement some habits, maybe you are actually one of those people who can actually drink normally or smoke every once in a while and it's not like a thing. Or maybe you smoke every day and it's still not a thing. Whatever your situation is, maybe hearing this list helps you realize, I don't know, you want to be creative more and maybe try doing it sober or go on more walks or whatever, you know? But I just wanted to put it out there because being sober is hard, but there are some serious perks, and these are just a few. So, peace.